In the United States of America, House Republicans are searching for a speaker after ousting incumbent and rejecting two replacements. The crisis is embarrassing senior party leaders and threatening the House grand old parties as GOP's hopes of expanding its 2024 majority. At least 9 new candidates have signed up for the speaker position, but none have the necessary 217 votes to win the top job. The uprising has weakened 3 powerful figures in the House GOP, and the task of making the House a functional legislative body looks impossible after weeks of GOP infighting. Joining us now to discuss this further is Adewale Damola. He's a lawyer and global affairs analyst. He is in New York City. We also have Ejike Okpa, global affairs analyst, who joins us from Lagos, Nigeria. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. It's been a long-drawn battle and controversy right there in the United States on Capitol Hill. The House Republicans on Monday opened the next act of their Washington farce, if you want to call it that, desperately searching for a speaker after ousting the incumbent and rejecting 2 would-be replacements in his stead, while still remaining clueless about how to dig out of that crisis. With all the impasse happening within the Republicans in the House of Representatives in the United States of America, how divided can one infer that they are? I'll start with you, Damola.
US, there are 2 major factions. The first is called the hardline Republicans. They are like the right wingers, and we also have the mainstream Republicans. And that was the hardline. One of them is the Matt Gaetz, who was the one that filed the motion on October 3rd that made the former speaker Kevin McCarthy to be ousted. So right now they have these 2 major factions. And as you said in your bulletin, there will be an election today. It will be 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and that will be around 11:30 p.m. Nigerian time. So they've not started yet, but they already got a momentum to start doing that. So basically, because for every Congress activity, there has to be a speaker who is going to moderate the elections activities, funding for the government. And right now, with the terrorist attacks in Israel and the fight between Israel and Hamas, there's a need for a speaker so that the Congress can come together and they can decide on funding for the U.S. federal government, for the Ukraine war, and for the Israeli-Hamas war. So there's a need for a speaker right now. And by 6:30, they will actually convert together and start doing that. One of the main contenders for this election is Tom Emmer. Before then, we have Jim Jordan, who has tried 3 times, but he was not elected, he was not selected. So the Republican Party right now within the Congress is really, really in disarray, and they need somebody as fast as possible, especially before November 17, when the government can shut down again.
Quite interesting. Ejike Okpa, what in your opinion is the implication of this, seemingly lack of direction within the Republicans for the leadership of the House of Representatives on the Congress in America? And what implication is this on that Congress and America's democracy as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I live in Dallas, but I'm happy to be visiting Nigeria. So the point is, the guest said disarray. Yes, it looks like it is functioning, from those from the outside looking in. But this is a pure democracy in action. I think what is going on, the Republicans have seen an opportunity to extract something from the Biden administration. Because you have the war in Ukraine, you have the crisis in Israel and between Israel and Hamas, and then you have the government, because our continuum that was passed, come November 17th or thereabout. Then it's going to be, you have to formally pass, a spending bill for the House. So what you see happening is the hardcore, the far right, or the moderate Republicans trying to see what it is that they have, they want to see, included, because you can't pass any spending bill without a speaker. And so you have this democracy. The difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, is that in the Democratic Party, this thing wouldn't have happened. They know how to get their members, rally them like, a herdsman rallying his cattle, and then they're going to get you, this is where you go. But the Republican Party is different. You have a lot of very strong individuals who have their own views about how government should spend money, how government should run. And so none of the people that have showed up to be speaker has garnered that support. If you remember, Kevin McCarthy was pushed out because they say he cut a deal, with the Biden administration in order to have the temporary spending bill passed. And that angered, the fan club of Matt Gaetz. And now, Jordan steps up, and Jordan is not making it, and then, McHenry is still there as a temporary guy. But one thing I want to assure, anybody watching and anybody who is interested in the process of, how the Republicans do things, there's going to be a speaker before November 17th. The drama is, like I said in an earlier appearance, on this news or another channel, the politics of the U.S. is like the making of a sausage. You're going to have all kinds of things going into it. That's very discouraging. But for those who are seasoned, those who are into, the politics, I ran for Congress. I can tell you the challenges, what were going on as to whether I was going to win the nomination in a Republican Party. It is very dysfunctional. But at the end of the day, somebody's going to emerge. So, America is going to have the spending bill, and then we want to know how much, because some of the Republicans don't like money being given to Ukraine. And then there's a polarizing factor now between Israel and Hamas. So that's what is playing. That's the hidden hand that is not being seen, because some members, wanting to exploit that situation in order to have certain things included in the bill that's going to be passed.
All right. Quite a far cry from the years of stable leadership by Nancy Pelosi for the Democrats, one might say. I come back to you, Damola. What would you say? The elections are just around the corner. Talking about the United States elections, will this have any significant impact on the process, particularly to the Republican Party?
Personally, I don't think so, because even though Republican Party have conducted different debates, their front runner, who is the former president Donald Trump, has never attended, but is the major person that is representing Republicans. So even though the party, as said by my esteemed guests, they are dysfunctional right now, it doesn't affect the outcome of the election, which is going to take place next year. Hopefully, we're going to see a great resolution before then. But right now, Donald Trump is still a major frontrunner. He has his own problems that he's facing, which doesn't affect the running of the Republican Party. But whatever is happening in Congress right now is not affecting, or will not affect the elections coming up in November next year.